Good evening, everybody. Welcome. We welcome you all tonight, especially new and former unsung heroes. There are a couple of you sprinkled in the crowd as we present our 28th Annual Manchester Community Service Award. Before we begin, on a serious note, there have been a couple of sad events, losses to our community recently. One of the things that's wonderful about this town is about how people come together and how people of extraordinary energy come here and make this such a wonderful place to live. And so most of you know about the passing of Henry Bronson, a well-known area restaurateur and chef, and also another son of Manchester, Jake Burton Carpenter, who also passed last week. So I just wanted to take a moment and acknowledge that loss and maybe a short moment of silence just to honor and thank them for all they gave to our community during their lives. Tonight we have one other item of business before we fet our 2019 Unsung Hero. One of the letters the committee received in the Community Service Award process was very unusual. The committee discussed it at length and concluded that the nomination didn't really fall into the category for which the Unsung Hero was created. That said, they felt this nominee was a unique situation that both affected our community and reached far beyond. The solution was a special recognition by the board to honor this person. I'd like to invite Kim Kawanka, who made the nomination and the persuasive case for this candidate. I'll let her share her eloquent thoughts. Come on up, Kim.
Hello. Well, I'm sure a lot of you here know Sarah Haddon already, but she is a remarkable woman. And I just thought, since I'm not a great public speaker, I could just read the letter quickly. Sarah is the founder and co-director of GNAT-TV, that is formerly known as the Cora Project. And she has built a bridge between our community and villages in northern Kenya that brings hope and purpose to innumerable people on both continents. And while the charitable giving is directed to Kenya, the gift of giving benefits our community in a way that is literally immeasurable. She has lifted the collective spirit of our community and inspired us to give and care about people we will never meet, but we will hold in our hearts forever. GNAT-TV began as the Cora Project approximately 9 years ago. Sarah met a Kenyan man named Cora who shared with her that the local schools were lacking basic school supplies. Sarah went to work to raise funds through local channels for the necessary supplies and delivered on her promise to help. Sarah had previously been a health education teacher, and when she heard that girls in Kenya did not have access to basic menstrual supplies, which negatively affected their ability to stay in school, she researched the issue and found the answer: reusable menstrual pads. To date, she has provided over 8,000 reusable pads to schools in Marsabit and Samburu counties, which are in the impoverished pastoral area of Kenya. Sarah calls them opportunity kits, and they truly provide an opportunity for girls to remain in school and thus avoid an early and unwanted arranged marriage. Sarah has a huge heart that is only matched by her resolve. As she visited northern Kenya and saw on the grounds what the needs were, she and Cora began to build upon their mission to include mentorships to children and families in neighboring villages. This positively impacts the communities in many ways. It fosters positive relations between the tribes, it empowers both the children and their parents, and it educates families on the dangers of female genital cutting. Sarah initiated a high school sponsorship program to allow high-performing children from impoverished families to attend high school. To date, GNAT-TV sponsors 97 children through 4 years of high school and is sponsoring its first college student this year. While KDIF focuses on 3 missions, opportunity kits, mentorships, and high school sponsorships, Sarah recognizes that other issues sometimes must be addressed to allow the learning and growth to continue. Specifically, this year, areas in northern Kenya are experiencing a severe drought, which was causing schools to close and threatening the very lives of people in that area. KDIF went to work and reached out into the community and found a woman, Tricia Heaton, so I need to name her, who also mobilized with Sarah and fundraised enough money to truck in water to, I think it was 8 villages, or was it 8 villages, to sustain them until the next rains. Many local people were involved in the endeavor that literally saved over 15,000 lives. And Sarah was just recently there on a trip, and every village they went to, and Bill was there with her, that had the water, were singing and dancing, their lives literally saved by the initiation of Sarah here and local people who all dug in to help. Sarah has founded a local organization with a global mission. Our community benefits just as significantly as the Kenyans, and possibly even more, because our gifts here are priceless. Because working with a higher purpose is priceless. Community engagement in a common purpose is priceless. Agreeing to put different political beliefs aside and work together to simply do good is priceless. Seeing firsthand that we can positively affect change is priceless. Sarah Haddon started the CORE project, now KDEF, with nothing but a strong desire to help, and the statistics today tell the story. So to recap, 8,000 girls in school thanks to opportunity kits, 917 students able to attend high school thanks to sponsorships, 400 high school students and families empowered thanks to mentorships, 15,000 people have water thanks to the water drive, local community inspired to give and care about others because of all the work Sarah has done. And if you know her, it's virtually impossible to tell Sarah no, especially when she's asking for you to help with others. So I'm really happy that you have decided to give her the recognition that she deserves. Thank you.
Kim, why don't you stay up here, and Sarah, why don't you come on up here? I'll share. The proclamation that Kim pretty much wrote this proclamation in a way. She didn't write it, but that letter was so complete that she made it very easy for us to do that. So, proclamation, whereas Sarah Haddon, founder and co-director of Kenya Dryland Education Fund, is a Manchester woman who has built a bridge between our community and the villages in northern Kenya that bring hope and purpose to innumerable people on both continents. And whereas the charitable giving directed to Kenya, the gift of giving benefits our own community in a way that is literally immeasurable, in your words. Whereas Sarah's work has provided 8,000 Kenyan girls with opportunity kits that truly provide an opportunity for them to remain in school, and 917 students now able to attend high school thanks to sponsorships, and 400 high school students and families empowered thanks to mentorships. And whereas she has positively impacted Kenyan communities in many ways, fostering positive relations between tribes, empowering both children, their parents, and educating families. And whereas Sarah initiated a high school sponsorship program to allow high-performing children from impoverished families to attend high school and to date through KDEF sponsors 97 children through 4 years of high school, as well as sponsoring its first college student this year. And whereas Sarah's work through KDEF fundraised enough money to truck water to 8 villages and sustain them until the next rain, involving many Manchester residents in this endeavor that literally saved over 15,000 lives. Now, therefore, be it known and resolved that we, the Select Board of the Town of Manchester, do hereby congratulate and thank and honor Sarah Haddon on behalf of the citizens of Manchester, proclaiming our thanks for her service and inspiration this, the 3rd day of December, signed by each of these members in Todd, Nebraska, of the Manchester Select Board. Wow. Sarah?
Sarah, wait 1 second while we turn off the projector so your face isn't
And
a computer screen. Now we can take pictures.
And we have a plaque from the Manchester Select Board proclaiming our thanks and appreciation for the inspirational work with our local community to benefit the people of Kenya. So we want to give you that also. And of course we have some flowers.
Wow.
And here, you better back up flowers. Come over here. Actually, come out front. Yeah. Come on, why don't you guys
You
stand
gotta
right
hold
here
fast.
together, and let Darren get an opportunity for a photo here. Okay. All right. All right.
Thank you.
Proud husband, got a good picture of that? Here, we'll unload you. All right, there you go.
Wow. Well, first of all, I'd just like to thank Kim Kowenko, who is on CATIF's board of directors, for this nomination, which came at a complete surprise to me. Also, Ellen Leeds, is our board chair, who happens to be here tonight. I always say, it's a we, not a me. And none of this would have happened if I wasn't surrounded by people who care. And if you think about it, this community, about approximately 20 miles radius, what they've done, this community has been the one who has stepped up to help the people in need. Kim's really reiterated a lot of the things that we do. We have a holistic approach to raising the standards of education in northern Kenya. We started with 3 programs, but now we found that how can we have these programs if they don't have water to drink? So we stepped up and we made that happen. We had someone from this community donate a water truck. We had Tricia Heaton and her husband donated money to ship water all over these villages, which are my husband, and I also want to thank my husband. It's the first time that he's been to Kenya this past October and November, and he kind of knew what I did, but I don't think he really knew until you see the conditions, the road conditions, the living conditions, the vastness of this area. It's pretty amazing. So, but I couldn't do this without this community and the support that I receive from this community. And I always like to give gifts, and so who's the board chair? You?
Ivan.
Yes, Ivan. So this is a shuka, and this is what is worn by the Kenyan warriors there. So you are the warrior of this board, so I would like to present you with a gift from Kenya.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. All right.
Okay.
The warrior. And I would also like to present this necklace to the town. You can hang it in somewhere. And as this was given to me this last October by a woman who stood up. She put this around my neck and she said, our government didn't listen to us. No one listened to us. No one helped us. CATIF was the only one that came and gave us water and literally kept us alive. And she had tears in her eyes and put this around my neck. So this is a gift I'd like to keep here for the town. Thank you so much. And one more. Well, also, if you'd like to see what these opportunities, our reusable pad looks like, I always like to share. And by the way, it's Giving Tuesday, we all know, so I wouldn't be doing my job unless I said it's still Giving Tuesday, and if you would like to donate, please. So this is what these pads look like. I know the men are particularly excited about seeing these, but this is a reusable pad, and they're washable, reusable, last a year or more. So and we have these little bags we give them. We also underwear or soap to go along with these, because it's amazing what they don't have. You take for granted here. I say often that we won the lottery where we were born, and these people did not. And a little bit of money goes so far. And again, what we've done is amazing with the help of this community. So I cannot thank you enough. I also just like to give this to my Kim. It's another little necklace to thank her for what she does for us and her kind words.
That's very cool.
And thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Scotch plaid?
It's a good choice.
Who knew? All right.
Feeling very warlike. Watch out.
Teacher Dorothy Height observed that without community service, we would not have a strong quality of life. Tonight, we honor all heroes who have improved the quality of our lives. Some are well known and heralded, some are and remain unsung. Winston Churchill said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." This is a giving community, and the list of people we have honored over the years is in no way complete. Tonight we honor heroes who have given much and quietly contributed to the quality and fabric of Manchester. Tonight we'll hear some anecdotes, lists of activities, associations of these that one person this evening has made. But it is my experience that most often the real reason they are heroes is for the kindness and generosities rendered about which we may never know. Most of you are familiar with this, but right to the left of the flag is the community service plaque, where actually we are fortunate enough to have to get a new plaque because we have run out of space on that. So that's a pretty good problem to have. I've temporarily inserted one, the newest member at the bottom, but that's a list of I think it's up to 83 people who have been honored over these past years. This award, affectionately known as the Unsung Hero Award, began 30 years ago in 1989. It seems like only yesterday we were sitting around the table at the Quality Restaurant when a conversation occurred that went something like this: "Isn't it a shame that the people who do all the work don't usually get the credit?" One of the people at that table was Dee Kilburn, the patriarch of the Kilburn family for whom this room is named. He suggested that we ought to give those people an award. This random observation was the genesis of what became known as the Unsung Hero Award. This evening we remind ourselves that sometimes in the busyness of life, we need to pause and look around and appreciate and thank people in our community who have made a difference. Each year, the Manchester Select Board Citizen Recognition Committee accepts nominations and chooses those they feel best exemplify selfless community service that often goes unrecognized. As I mentioned earlier, that list is by no means complete. It relies on people noticing and nominating heroes. Sometimes generous givers are so quiet, no one notices. Our unsung heroes are the people who work quietly behind the scenes, the people our community counts on to make things happen, all the ideas and spawn the events that make this town such a wonderful place to live and raise families. They are the volunteers, the coaches, the board members, the plainclothes soldiers who do the grunt work and don't often get their picture in the paper. They're the people who, when you ask, put their hand up, step forward, or quietly make things happen without motive other than helping their neighbors and their community. They were chosen from among many worthy nominations, for we are a community of heroes sung and unsung. Sadly, in these 28 years, some are no longer with us. The good news, of course, is the legacy they have left, and especially the fact that so many are still doing the good work for which they were honored. It has become a tradition to read this list of people who have received this recognition. Their names are all contained on that plaque. Some have passed, some are here tonight, and some join us in spirit. They are, in 1989, Gordon and Beatty Gill and Dick Rizzio and Linda Spence were honored. In 1990, I was fortunate to be honored along with Don Johnson and Ray and Leslie Purdy. In 1991, Pete Cobb and Betty Clayton and Huguette Peck and Bill Drunzik were honored. In 1992, Helen Eaton and Fred Hansen and Clarence Decker and Ann Pierce. In 1993, Rabbi Michael Cohen and Mary Nevin and Brian Hill. In 1994, Marion Gaudette, Howard Wexler, and Garrett Cowenhoven. In 1995, Maggie Ellis was honored. In 1996, Patty Barnes and Marshall Peck and Bill Weeks. In 1997, Martha Ross Stevenson, Terry Tyler, Carol Latuga, who's here, Tara Dowden. In 1998, Donald Dorr, Patty Borehill, Zoe Daly, Jim Hand, and Gail Busel. In 1999, Seth Bongartz and Jenny Davis and Jeff Chapman. In 2000, Patricia Carmichael, Paul Bolio, and Joanna Taylor. In 2001, Bonnie Kilburn and Dom Penji. 2002, Jack Clark. 2003, Dr. Dave Pardo. In 2004, Martha Thompson. In 2005, Len and Becky Kotler. Some of you might have noticed I said the 28th, and yet it was 30 years ago. In 2006 and 7, died on the vine for a little bit. We had no awards given in those 2 years. But after that, in 2008, Ray Ferrarin and Marie Ferrarin and Mary Miner were honored. 2009, Kaki Fisher was honored. In 2010, Emmy McCusker and David Bentley. 2011, Joe Charbonneau and Lou and Patty Madura. 2012, Roger and Penny Pruce and Lonnie Labisa. 2013, Lisa Connors Cross and Karen Healy Allen and Beverly Van Sickle. 2014, Bill and Becky Burke, Robert W. Thompson, Carl Molinoff, and Fred Hilliard. In 2015, Sean Harrington. In 2016, David Cannell. There he is. 2017, Karen Sestero, Linda Drunzik, and Andrew Shaw. We also gave a special award that year to Raymond Crunch Carangio for a lifetime of service. And in 2018, Evelyn Tobin and Dick and Kate Koss. So tonight, we add to our Manchester Community Service Award plaque our 82nd recognized hero. We, the Manchester Select Board, on behalf of the citizens of Manchester, are happy to announce that from many worthy nominees, one has been chosen this year. Our 2019 hero is Carolyn Smith. I have asked the folks who nominated her, John and Jean Morris, to share some information about Carolyn. I invite them to come on up and do that, and also anybody else who feels moved to speak is welcome to join them.
Thank you. Jean and I are going to do this in 2 parts. I'm going to take the easy part.
But it's not going to be 2 hours.
But when we first wrote the letter recommending Carolyn, I expressed 2 concerns to Jean. The first was Carolyn does an awful lot of her work and efforts privately, and I wasn't at all sure she would welcome this type of recognition. My second concern was, even though we've known Carolyn for better than 18 years, we weren't sure we had everything that she actually contributes her time and efforts to. We decided to ignore that concern because the list, as we put it together, seemed long enough. Jean, I'm going to let you.
Okay, so now continuing with Jack's theme of selflessness, I'd like to share an overview of Carolyn's activities that she's involved in and has been involved in. So we'll start with last week, okay, the Thanksgiving turkey dinner at the church.
Carolyn was the organizer of that 7 years ago, and a founder as well. And so she has been doing that tirelessly and effortlessly, obviously, for 7 years. So that was just last week. Now, currently, she's the vice president of the Garden Club of Manchester. She's on the board and serves on multiple committees. She was deeply involved with civic beautification and was a leader in designing, organizing, and maintaining the Factory Point Park. I think that's what it's called. It's the one on the corner. I always get it confused.
Factory Point Town Green.
That's it. Okay, good. Thank you. And she was responsible. She's also responsible for the Holiday Wreath Committee, and she's also a coordinator of the scholarship program for the high school seniors in the area that the Garden Club gives an award to every year. Carolyn. The next organization, she was a board member of the New England Coleman Race for the Cure. She had been the co-treasurer for at least 10 years, not exactly sure, could be a little more, and she was an active organizer of the event. Additionally, Ray, her husband Ray, they started a team called Ray's Girls, and they rallied about 100 men, women, and children for, 5 or 6 years at least, every year, and raised funds and just brought the whole community together. So everybody wore the Ray's Girls bow ties on their shirt, but they raised so much money, and Carolyn, again, was behind the scenes doing all that type of work. Let's see, I'm not done yet. Okay, so she is an active member of St. Paul's Roman Catholic Church, where she is an extraordinary minister. She's basically the money lady, I believe. Sunday collection, she's always there. She takes care of the banking. She organizes the decorations for the church, and she's active in the interfaith program through St. Paul's Church. She's a member of the Community Food Cupboard, which is a wonderful thing in our community. She's also sat on the board of the Vermont Reading Partners, and she has volunteered at the Hildene Welcome Center. She's clearly a remarkable woman who has given freely of her time and skills over many years in our community. So, in closing, I would just like to say how lucky and blessed we are. Thank you, Carolyn.
Come on up here, Carolyn, and come on up here. All of you guys, come on up. Ray, come on up here too. Everybody. All right, so Carolyn Smith, who has unselfishly contributed to strengthen the fabric of our community. Congratulations. Here, let me give you some flowers too. Here's some. Help her hold these. Okay. All right. Congratulations. Well earned over many years. Thank you on behalf of the entire community and town of Manchester. Ray's favorite girl, right?
You bet.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. Okay, what you need? No, okay, here. Okay. Turn, here, we'll, let's see. Here, let me hold this. Here, Ray, why don't you take the waters there?
I know, we're moving it up front.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Good, thank you.
All right.
What's that?
This is fun. Let's just keep doing it. We have so many people that we could. We had a bunch of wonderful nominations this year. A lot of the same kinds of things. Some of them shorter term, some of them span a breadth of 30, 40 years. So we are very lucky as a community, and we appreciate that. And speaking for the board, we're happy to acknowledge that.